everyone and welcome to CFC Fan TV. This is my favourite segment. It's Ask Sophie. Sorry it hasn't been around for a while. You know, coming towards the end of the season, there really weren't that many questions to answer anymore because, you know, the simple fact of the matter is that we weren't doing very well. But what a fantastic way to end the season by winning the FA Cup. I was thrilled with that. And, you know, I think if Conte goes, which we'll discuss in a minute, because loads of you are asking who our next manager is going to be, at least we've gone out on a high to an extent, you know, at least we've won a trophy. You know, if our worst season is finishing 5th and winning the FA Cup, then, you know, it's still a success. You know, we're out there to win trophies, and, you know, you could say United finished 2nd and Tottenham finished in the top 4, but Tottenham don't have a trophy. Do you know what I mean? So I think trophies are, you know, what everybody sets out for, and if it means we win a trophy, you know, I'd much rather win a trophy a season and be out of the Champions League, because to me, being in the Champions League, you know, season after season and not winning it is just as good. It's just as, you know, it's the same as not being in it one season and then coming back and winning it the next, you know. So I'd much rather our chances, you know, when we won the Premier League last season, we were out of the Champions League and we sort of had that time to sort of focus solely on the league, and maybe that's what we can use next year for, and then go back into the Champions League when we're more in contention to win it. So yeah, loads of questions to answer here, so yeah, we'll get straight into them. Kevin Sales Coppola, great name, called Coppola, sorry darling, I'm trying to get the name right there, says, who do you think is going to be Chelsea's next manager next season? Enrique, Sarri, Conte or anybody else? Now, loads of you have said, what do I think of Sarri? Loads of you are asking, you know, I know he's quite a feisty manager, has he won anything major? Not so much, but yeah, you know, if you want someone fiery, I don't know about the smoking. I don't think he'll get away with smoking inside Chelsea Stadium or any Premier League stadium for that matter of a fact. But yeah, you know, in terms of a fiery manager, if we want that, then 100% he's the sort of person that we should go for. You know, I think it's just a very sad situation. I think we're running out of, you know, options. I'm quite surprised that Sarri's sort of just started to come out. I think that, you know, the likelihood of signing Enrique was much more, you know, publicly. Well, I mean, what everybody's been talking about, newspapers, articles online. So I thought that was much more of a likely appointment. But it turns out that this has now come to light. And yeah, I mean, listen, it's very hard for me to say I am 100% thrilled that Conte's gone, because I'm not. I think Conte was a great manager. I think he fitted in really well with the club in our first season. I think he changed the system, which was fantastic. I think he, you know, has so much to offer in terms of, he's very passionate and, you know, all those things. I know he's won other couple of players like David Luiz. But at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know if you guys obviously all saw that thing on Willian where he put the emojis over Antonio, which I thought was a little bit tasteless probably. But I don't like to comment too much on those things, because for all we know, Antonio really is a very difficult man to deal with. But at the same time, I think if he was just doing that because he was left out of the side in the FA Cup, then, you know, that is what it is, part and parcel of football. You know, if you're not the right person to play that game, you're not the right person to play, and that's something that the footballers really need to get over. But yeah, in terms of Sarri, I think I'm going to do another video very soon with Rory and Charlie, where we'll discuss more in depth of that whole situation. But yeah, how do we know if the manager's going to be successful at Chelsea anymore? We just don't, do we? So he could be a very good appointment. He could be a complete flop within 6 months. Who knows? But if you want somebody very fiery and you want somebody with, you know, a big character, etc., then yes, I think that's a good appointment. Ray Vincent, hi Ray, says, is it difficult being a woman in the football world? If so, what challenges do you face? Yes, it is very difficult. I don't really talk about it too often, I suppose. Being taken seriously, now I know a lot of you think that I do the modelling stuff, so that's why I'm not taken seriously, but really it's just very hard for women to be taken seriously in any sort of career form, I think, because you always have people just wanting to take advantage or just not, like I say, taking you seriously enough when I'm just as capable as any other male. I think you see it in everything though, you know, there's a big thing about, you know, a men's and women's pay gap, isn't there, things like that, so it does exist and it is super sad, but as long as I'm sort of focused on what I'm doing, and that's why I love having my own channel, because the boys are very supportive and we all work together and we all speak every day and we converse really well. So having people that you get along with at work, or by a few little arguments here and there, which is always good in business, it shows that you care, I think is always a #1 priority and a good thing for me. Chris Creaney, great name. So I'm not doing very well with the names today, am I? Says, hashtag Ask Sophie, do you think it's time there should be a rule where all teams have to start with a British-born under 21 in the lineup every game for all clubs in the Premier League, even to help the future of our game and England? Very, very interesting question. I love that question. Do I think it will ever happen? No. But do I think it would be good? Then yeah, I think it would definitely be good to have that guideline. I think you can never hate teams spending money. That's what the Premier League, you know, it's a well-known fact that, you know, football teams want to survive these days. You have to have a very rich owner. You have to be very well run. But I do think that because of how far Man City flew ahead this season, although I thought they played some fantastic football, if you take Man City out of it, United would have won the league this season. It actually wouldn't have been too much of a different season. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame that it's sort of being ruined that way, I think. I think it's just gone too far in that aspect, and I would love to see there be some sort of regulation on that. And I think it would actually be great for English-born players. I think it would be great for the boys that don't really get much of a start now, because obviously everything's taken up by whoever else comes in. So yeah, definitely. I think that's a great question, and yes, I think that would be a great rule to have. Although sadly, I don't know if it will happen. The Gurkus, hello, great names, people. My name's so boring, Sophie, yuck. Lamps or JT, hashtag Ask Sophie, don't do that to me. I've always said JT, and then I switched to Lampard. Very, very difficult to say. I mean, I always find it very difficult to judge if they're not really playing in the same position, because what JT does in defence is obviously vital. His leadership, his organisation skills. We clearly suffer without him when he originally left, you know, and I think we still sort of lack that leadership now. And then you've got Lampard in the middle, who is our all-time top goal scorer, which effectively is what wins you games. It's really, really difficult to say. So I don't really want to say either one. Really is 50-50, I suppose. I did go towards Lampard then, but I do think it's just 50-50, and I don't want to upset either of them, because I know they obviously watch all these videos. So yeah, I don't want to say both equal. Next question then. Oh, there's a really good one down here that I'm just scrolling to find. Oh, we'll do this one. Shane Morrison, between Conte and Sarri, who would you prefer and why? Okay, I'll answer this. Right, just said I'd answer it, and now I don't know. Like I said, we just talked about Sarri quite a lot. Listen, I would have loved Conte to work out, but towards the end of the season, he did make a lot of bad errors of judgment. Do I think I prefer Sarri? I don't know. I don't think I could tell that until he actually arrives and I seen him sort of change the team up. But I do think at some point, we really need a manager with a high level of experience in winning the Champions League, winning titles, and actually I think Premier League experience is a huge, huge thing. And that's why I always get very, very worried when managers come or players come from different leagues and they perform really well. You know, you've seen Bakayoko perform very well elsewhere, and then he's come here and it's not really been the start of the season that he's wanted. We've had that sort of thing with players all along, so I don't think it's any different with managers really. Chelsea needs some stability. Will we get it with this manager? I don't think he's going to last. Would I like him to last? Yeah, this is Sarri I'm talking about. I don't think Conte will be here next season. I really, really don't. I think it's just a waiting game and just working out the financial obligations of it. And then last question comes from Martello, and this is my favourite question. If you had a spare ticket for the CL final, who would you take with you? Charlie Skillen or Chelsea Rory? Very good question. Listen, there's two things here. Okay, when me and Charlie sit next to each other in games, Chelsea don't tend to win. It happened against Huddersfield. It's happened previously to that. We really try and avoid each other and see each other, you know, before and after the games. But when you're in the stadium, you're not meant to sit together. Rory and I, yeah, I could take Rory. I mean, we spend a lot more time together though. So I would say when we're at the football, unless we obviously sat in the box together this year, but I think generally he used to sit in the Matthew Harding, I used to sit in the share. We were total opposite ends. So there's the gap there, you know. So if I had to choose one of them, I'd probably just take my dad. I'd probably just take my dad, if I'm being honest. Yeah. I'd love to have said you, Dad Charles, but the fact of the matter is that me and Charles, we always lose football games and me and Charles sit together, so that can't be happening. Anyway, thank you so much for all your questions. I've really enjoyed this week's Ask Sophie. Look out for our next couple videos. I'm doing a video on my favourite moments at the bridge. We're going to be talking lots more about Sarri and who Chelsea's potential new appointment could be. And yeah, thank you so much for putting all your questions, and I'll see you all super soon.